everyone, it's Cynthia from the Iron Brush Mural Company. I'm here today to talk about the second tutorial for our black and white murals that we did in the fitting room at In Bloom Boutique. And today we're going to talk about the arrows. It's definitely the most complicated as far as prep work and deciding how big you're going to make the design. But once you make your stencil, which I will teach you how to do, then it's super easy. It goes very quickly. So I'm going to show you right now the final product that we did at the boutique. So the first thing we're going to do is decide how many columns of arrows you want in your space. Now there's two ways to do it. One is careful math, which I don't have the time to go into right now, but if you want to know how I figured it out, send me a message and I will walk you through those steps. Or you can just guesstimate. So make a decision on how wide you think the arrows should be, and I made the arrows twice as wide as the space in between. So make those decisions, and then we're gonna put together a stencil, and I'm gonna show you how to make a stencil for your arrows now. Here's the stencil I created out of a poster board. The first thing I did was to draw on these green lines as a grid. And you'll see that I moved it over so that the full squares were in the center of the poster board, so that after I cut out my section that I would have poster board on the edge. Next, I measured down 1 inch, and that can be whatever you decide, from the top, and drew a black line from that 1 inch mark to either side, just like that. And then I cut out this space. I'll show you what it looks like with it cut out. This is just so I have room for my pencil, but I'm only really concerned with this one black line right here. Then what I did was I moved the design over, and these are pointing up, these are pointing down. Now I didn't have enough room on this poster board to do a full second column. However, because I have this all ready to go, it's gonna make it super easy to line up my stencil so that I can very quickly know exactly where it needs to go. All right, we're ready to transfer our design onto the wall. So the first thing I'm gonna do is going to measure the whole wall and find the center and draw a vertical line using my level. And I'm gonna make sure that it's really straight because this is what the whole design is based off of. So once I find that line, I've got my stencil here. I'm going to line up this center line on the arrows and trace along these black lines only. You don't have to worry about the top part. You're just doing one single line. I'm going to go all the way down and do the whole column. So this is when I'm glad that I have this other half of the arrow, because when I'm moving on to the next side, all I have to do is turn it around and line up where I already drew those, and then I can do my second column of arrows all the way down, and on the other side as well. On the other side I may have to flip it around backwards, but you can still see where you need to draw. So do that across the whole wall, and then you're ready to paint. All right, I've got my pretty brush here, and I've got some paint, and I'm gonna dip it in. I'm not gonna make sure that it's not too wet, because I want it to have a really brush stroke look. So dip it in and wipe some of it off. And then I'm gonna start, you can start either at the edge or at the top. And I recommend mixing it up, because you're wanting to have some inconsistency as you're going around, and you wanna make sure that it's looking a little bit different everywhere you go. So when you're doing this point right here, it's really hard to get that nice arrow point. So it's a little bit easier if you start on that side, so it might be what you wanna start with. Okay, so that one's a little bit more solid, so I may do the next one a little bit more brush strokey. The nice thing about this is that if you go a little bit less, you can always add more. So if that point isn't exactly what you want, you just very gently add a little bit more and go all the way down the line. It's nice to go back and kind of clean up those points just a little bit, but you can see that you can start from either side. Just if you're coming from the outside going up, just be aware that you need to stop right at that point, otherwise you're going to end up having little X's at the top, and so you may have to come back and clean up that point. So you're going to do that across the whole wall, up and then down, and then you're done. Super easy.